last week's Lil Nas X, the Montero video released, and we made our like easiest, simplest prediction ever last week that the video was going to blow up and a bunch of people were going to make a big deal out of it because they make money off of making a big deal.
Yeah, that's what they do.
But we did talk about the one aspect that did seem kind of shady about the whole thing, how the Montero video looked a lot like FKA Twigs' Cellophane video, down to the cinematography and the choreography and everything. But there is some good news out of that. It appears that FKA Twigs and Lil Nas X had some sort of a meeting, and they, like, Lil Nas X apologized and like acknowledged that there was a lot of inspiration done from that video. And FKA Twigs,
but then FKA Twigs liked it a lot and said the video is fantastic, and I'm happy that you used it or like got the inspiration from me.
Yeah.
So
she said and noted on Instagram, "I think what you've done is amazing." In a note to open letter to Lil Nas X, "I think what you've done is amazing, and I fully support your expression and bravery in pushing your career forward for the queer community. Legend status." And then Lil Nas X said, "I want to say thank you to Twigs for calling me and informing me about the similarities between the two videos, as I was not aware they were so close.
Yeah.
Was only excited for the video to come out. I understand how hard you worked to bring this visual to life. You deserve so much more love and praise." And so, like, we would cover a lot of stories where artists get petty about each other over these things.
Yeah.
But this...
It's a heartwarming story finally, because, yeah, normally somebody would be up in arms or would sue or have some type of thing against it, but that's just two artists coming together and enjoying art.
Yeah, this was, I think it's even a nicer case than that time when there was a thing between Mitski and Mac DeMarco because they both made cowboy-related albums around the exact same time. I think that situation was a lot worse. And even then, they kind of like, you know, like shrugged it off and were like nice and complimentary to each other. This is really like the best way it could have come out with. Because there are already a bunch of other things Lil Nas X was dealing with, the whole like backlash that he helped to manufacture for himself. I'm not saying it's right that this backlash is happening, but I'm just saying like Lil Nas X
he's a troll.
Yeah, he's a troll.
He knew that was going to be happening.
Yeah, I happen to think that this trolling in this context is very funny because you're trolling the people who like to call themselves trolls, but just do it to, like they use the term troll to really describe bullying other people. But we'll move on to that. One of the best parts was that Lil Nas X posted an apology video holding the shoes, saying like, "Look, I understand a lot of people are upset about the fact that we had an employee for this fake Nike shoe that Nike's suing us on. More on that later. We understand that people are very upset that we had an employee get their blood, and there's like a little drop of blood in each of these shoes that we have. And they're upset about the whole like Satan lap dancing thing. So what I really want to tell you is that I, Lil Nas X himself," and then the video cuts immediately to the lap dancing scene.
It's so funny. It's a giant middle finger to everybody.
It's just going in and in and in. Like Candace Owens couldn't have enough. The South Dakota governor, Kristi Noem, couldn't have enough.
But they're capped. They're always gonna say stuff like that. No matter
that's the thing. Like
that's what they do.
If it weren't for Lil Nas X during that thing in the past week, they would have very little to talk about. They'd have nothing like stand out. They'd be talking about like the basic news stories, trying to be provocative on their own. But like their bullshit's lame. That's why barely anyone pays attention to them. Instead, until they start talking about celebrity issues, and then everyone can dunk on them, which is really funny. Because then the entire world understands why I hate these people. But again, the other like more like less serious, but like a thing that Lil Nas X actually has to think about from this whole debacle is that he worked with that company to make these Nike shoes without the permission of Nike. Like regardless of what they're doing, whatever, you can't use another company's trademark without their permission. Something Nike was really upset about. So you'd find it really funny when the United States Postal Service, old Flying Eagle itself, calls out Nike for creating an Air Force One design that uses United States Postal Service design and wording and stamps and envelope lettering. So it's like, hey, Nike, you're making this thing recently about artists using your trademarks without your permission. Totally fair. Companies have to protect their trademarks. This you?
Yep.
So yeah, and a lot of the criticism, and I think even some people misunderstood our criticism of like Lil Nas X and saying that like, oh, Nike's just doing this for like nefarious reasons, or you're missing the whole point. I'm saying like, no, let's look at the full story and say that like Lil Nas X rolled out, is doing an album rollout. It's going phenomenally well for him. And part of this rollout was shoes. Some of the rollout went really well. Some of the rollout was poorly planned. And now he's facing potential legal trouble from Nike. Yeah. It's just doubly funny now that the same company that's trying to say that you're stealing trademarks is stealing trademarks left and right.
From us,
by the way.
Yes.
Yeah, USPS. Listen, get your money. I mean, privatized part of the federal government that's being siphoned a lot of money out taken from it. Get your money, dog. But that takes it for Lil Nas X. Overall, good job for him, and I'm not going to be listening to barely any more of the music because there's an album coming out soon at some point.